For over 2 millennia, this small island, Sri Lanka, has stood as a crossroads of the world, its shores lapped by the Indian Ocean, and its fate shaped by the tides of history. Known through the ages as Taprobane, Serendib and Ceylon, Sri Lanka was never just a remote paradise. It was a vital link in the vast trade routes that connected Rome to China, a meeting point for merchants, explorers and adventurers from every corner of the ancient world. Its harbors offered safe haven to ships braving the monsoon winds, while its cinnamon, precious gems and majestic elephants became legendary commodities, drawing traders and conquerors alike. The island's natural riches were coveted by empires, making it a magnet for ambition and desire. Sri Lanka's story is one of resilience and survival, shaped by constant interaction, negotiation and conflict with powerful empires that sought to leave their mark on its soil. From the mighty Cholas of South India to the Portuguese, Dutch and British, many sought to control this island jewel, drawn by its strategic location at the heart of the Indian Ocean's maritime highways. Yet, the island absorbed foreign influences, resisted domination, and forged a unique identity in the crucible of empire. Its people blended traditions, languages and beliefs, creating a vibrant, multicultural society. The dramatic sweep of its history is etched into the landscape, in the ancient reservoirs that tame the monsoon rains, the colossal Buddha statues that gaze serenely over the land, and the weathered stone walls of colonial forts that still stand sentinel. As a bastion of Theravada Buddhism, Sri Lanka became a renowned center of learning and pilgrimage, attracting monks, scholars and seekers from across Asia who came to study its sacred texts and meditate beneath its ancient trees. The sacred tooth relic in Kandy, believed to be a fragment of the Buddha himself, symbolized sovereignty and spiritual authority, anchoring the Sinhalese kingdoms through centuries of strife and change. This extraordinary blend of natural wealth, strategic importance and spiritual identity made Sri Lanka a glittering prize woven into the fabric of world history, a place where the currents of commerce, culture and faith have always converged. Long before the arrival of European explorers, Sri Lanka flourished as the heart of a sophisticated and advanced civilization. Its people developed unique systems of governance, culture and technology that set the island apart in the ancient world. In the ancient city of Anuradhapura, visionary kings engineered vast reservoirs and intricate canals, transforming dry, arid plains into lush, fertile fields. These innovations not only supported thriving agriculture, but also enabled the construction of monumental cities and religious sites. The arrival of Buddhism in the 3rd century BCE marked a turning point, inspiring a golden age of art, architecture and learning. Temples and monasteries became centers of both spiritual and intellectual life, drawing pilgrims and scholars from across Asia. Kings commissioned the construction of stupas, enormous domes that housed sacred relics. These awe-inspiring structures, some among the largest ever built in the ancient world, stood as symbols of faith, unity, and royal power. When Anuradhapura eventually fell, the city of Polonnaruwa rose to prominence. Visionary rulers like Parakramabahu the Great led a new era, constructing the colossal Parakrama Samudra Reservoir, and leaving behind a legacy of innovation and resilience. Polonnaruwa's cityscape became a marvel of its time, filled with grand palaces, ornate temples, and the breathtaking Galvihara Buddha statues, each carved from solid granite with remarkable skill and devotion. These enduring monuments reflect a culture that achieved a perfect synthesis of spiritual devotion, artistic mastery, and technical ingenuity, leaving a legacy admired to this day. The echoes of this golden era still shape Sri Lanka's landscape and identity, visible in the ruins that dot the countryside and in the traditions that continue to thrive. It was truly a golden age, a time when faith, creativity, and ingenuity flourished side by side, leaving an indelible mark on the island's history and soul. Sri Lanka's wealth attracted powerful South Indian empires, especially the Cholas. Their invasions devastated Anuradhapura and imposed foreign rule, challenging the Sinhalese identity and Buddhist traditions. Yet, resistance persisted. Sinhalese princes waged guerrilla campaigns from the jungles fighting for survival. Vijayabahu I emerged as a hero, driving out the Cholas after 17 years and restoring Buddhist institutions. This victory marked the start of the Polonnaruwa period, a renaissance born from adversity. The cycle of invasion and resurgence forged a resilient national spirit. Memories of occupation shaped future politics and a deep sense of vulnerability. The Sinhalese adapted, moving capitals and defending their independence and faith. The 16th century brought new threats, Europeans seeking spices, souls, and power. The Portuguese arrived first, seizing coastal forts and imposing brutal rule, blending conquest with forced conversion. The Dutch ousted them, focusing on profit and monopolizing cinnamon, leaving a legacy in law and infrastructure. Yet the independent Kandyan kingdom resisted both powers from the mountains. The British completed the conquest in 1815, seizing the sacred tooth relic and uniting the island under foreign rule. They transformed the economy with plantations, importing Tamil laborers and altering the island's demographics. English schools created a new elite, who would later lead the push for independence. Colonialism connected Sri Lanka to the world, but left deep divisions and inequalities. The island's identity was forever changed by these centuries of foreign domination. After 150 years of British rule, Sri Lanka gained independence peacefully in 1948. Hopes for unity soon faded as colonial legacies fueled ethnic tensions. The Sinhalese majority, seeking to reclaim their place, passed the Sinhala Only Act in 1956, sidelining the Tamil minority. This act deepened divisions, alienating Tamils and fracturing the dream of a pluralistic nation. Successive governments further marginalized minorities, fueling mistrust and radicalization. Competing nationalisms replaced the early vision of harmony. The failure to build an inclusive state set the stage for future conflict. Old divides, once masked by colonial rule, re-emerged with new intensity. The seeds of discord were sown in the very dawn of independence. Ethnic tensions erupted into civil war in the 1970s and 80s as Tamil militants demanded a separate state. The LTTE, led by Prabhakaran, became infamous for suicide bombings and a formidable insurgency. The 1983 Black July pogroms marked the war's bloody beginning, driving thousands to militancy. For nearly 3 decades, Sri Lanka was torn by violence, atrocities, and deepening mistrust. Over 100,000 died, countless more were displaced, and the island's social fabric was shattered. Regional powers intervened, but peace remained elusive until 2009. A final government offensive ended the war, but left a legacy of trauma and unresolved grievances. The shadow of conflict still lingers, shaping Sri Lanka's present and future. After the war's end in 2009, Sri Lanka entered a period of rapid transformation. The country saw new roads and highways stretch across the island, cities rising with modern buildings, and a tourism industry that flourished as visitors flocked to its ancient sites and pristine beaches. There was a sense of optimism in the air, as many hoped for a brighter, more prosperous future. Yet, beneath the surface, true reconciliation remained out of reach. The Tamil community, especially in the north and east, continued to feel marginalized, their voices often unheard. Old wounds from decades of conflict lingered, making it difficult for the nation to fully heal and move forward together. In 2019, the devastating Easter Sunday bombings shattered the fragile sense of peace. The attacks exposed deep religious divisions and heightened anxieties, reminding everyone that harmony in Sri Lanka was still fragile and could be easily disrupted. Soon after, the COVID-19 pandemic struck, compounding the nation's troubles. Economic mismanagement and global shocks led to severe shortages of fuel, food, and medicine. Everyday life became a struggle for millions as uncertainty and hardship spread across the island. By 2022, frustration boiled over. Massive protests erupted in the streets, uniting people from all walks of life. Their collective voice forced the president to flee the country, a dramatic and unprecedented display of people power demanding change. Today, Sri Lanka is slowly finding its footing again. International aid and tough economic reforms are helping the country recover, though the path remains challenging and progress is gradual. Amidst adversity, there's a renewed sense of cultural vibrancy. Communities celebrate their traditions, protect their natural treasures, and work together to restore what was lost. On the world stage, Sri Lanka carefully balances its relationships with India and China, seeking stability, investment, and opportunities for growth in a rapidly changing region. The journey toward lasting peace and unity is ongoing and often difficult, but across the island people continue to hope, to remember, and to strive for a future where all communities can thrive together. Through centuries of struggle, Sri Lankans have shown remarkable resilience, a spirit that endures, inspiring new generations as they shape the nation's future with hope and determination.